It's fantastic to be here. I really appreciate everybody taking the time in your morning, and we are very excited to be part of the Quincy world. It's my pleasure to introduce to you the CEO of the New England Free Jacks and Heritage Sports Ventures, Alex Magleby, to welcome you here.
Thanks, Ollie. Thanks everybody for being here today. Those who are joining us on Quincy Access. Quincy is Everything on Facebook Live. It's great to talk to you as well. Mayor, thanks for being here today. What an awesome day for us to finally announce that Quincy is home of the New England Free Jacks of Major League Rugby. It's a day we've been really looking forward to as we build out our whole enterprise. Now in 2018, we set out to create a world-class sports entertainment company. That the aim is to help build better local communities through events that inspire and bring joy. You see, we believe that sports is transcendent, sport in general, but also because of our unique experiences, that rugby itself is a perfect medium for doing that. See, rugby is a game, whether you're a participant or a fan, you get to get in touch with some great values and camaraderie that we don't necessarily get to see in other parts of culture and society. If you're playing the game, there literally is a position for everybody. Whether you're skinny and fast, big and slow, my case, slow, skinny, fat, you can still do well. Because it's a game that takes guile. There's always a contest. It takes the ability to work hard. So it's a perfect game to play. Girls and boys, the rules are the same. You run up down the field, you have ball in hand. The mayor decides if he's going to pass the coach or not. Whether it was the right decision or wrong decision, Scott now has to support that decision. So it's a very, very cool game for teaching some very important life lessons. Beyond that, when you're not playing the game and you're watching it, our rivals from New York are in town, but we may still buy the guy next to us who's wearing that jersey a beer. And that's just the nature of our game. Because see, at the end of it, it's a fierce competition. You walk off the field, though, and you sit down, and you have a meal together. And you introduce yourselves to other people who come from different parts of the world. And that way, this game is perfect. It's transcendent. You get to do what humans have always done to bring peace, and they get to break bread together. It's a core part of our model, is the sport of rugby. And the perfect place to build that, of course, is Quincy. There's a long sporting legacy here in a great venue, where Quincy and North Quincy High student athletes have long gone out there and used sport as education to improve their lives. We really look forward to having, soon enough, a Quincy and a North Quincy girls and boys varsity program competing for an MIA championship and helping to support something like that happen. That's important to us. And a beautiful venue built in the late 30s, awesome architecture, kind of Depression era, WPA, that is tradition with a lot of new innovation, and it's modern. It's a perfect venue for us. We put out a picture of veterans, and it was surrounded by Merriment Park on our social media a couple months ago. Had the highest impressions at the time for our social media because it was such a beautiful place for people to see sport unfold, and that's very cool. Beyond that, it's a modern, awesome sports venue, premier sports venue, 8 miles from Boston. Perfect location. In a city that is highly diverse, that is fast becoming global, rugby is the global contact game. After we played here in July, 315,000 households had their eyes on veterans through cable TV that night. As you walked up the park, you could smell the barbecue. You saw friends catching up with old friends, kids running around, people meeting new friends. Just an awesome experience. We decided, what? We want to be a part of Quincy, its sporting legacy, its fantastic business community. So we decided to move offices. We're now just right next door, 1400 Hancock, in a city that has a tremendous vision, strong and healthy vision, led by the mayor, to make this a world-class city, and we're really excited to be a part of it. So whatever we can do to help, questions we can answer, we look forward to growing with the city and being a part of and supporting the initiatives that the city is unfolding. So thanks for hearing us. I'm really excited to introduce our new head coach, Scotty joins us from South Africa. He is a legend already, and he's younger than me. He's been a great addition for our players and to lead this team. We are playing our first match. We're on NBC Sports Boston, 9 p.m. this Saturday. The team's down in New Orleans. So, Scotty, without further ado.
Good afternoon. I think from my side, I'm really honored to be the head coach and lead the rugby program here at the Free Jacks. It's just a massive opportunity, isn't it? I feel like coming over to the States, it was my first time yesterday. I was saying I walked out of my front door and I couldn't find my car. That wasn't because it got stolen, like we're not in South Africa anymore, but it was covered in snow. I literally had to ask the next door neighbor for a shovel, and that was me digging up. So I'm really dealing with a lot of new experiences here, and we get a whole bunch of players that have come in from different parts of the world, joining up with the American guys locally, and just really creating an environment where these guys, professional athletes, the top of their game, can be in a competitive place, a competitive environment, and help them grow and develop as players. And that's what we're really starting to do here, and that's really an awesome thing to be part of. Rugby itself, I love the game. I think that's important for everyone to know. I love rugby. And I say that not just because of the game itself, for the nuances of it, but really for what it's taught me and how it's grown me as a person. I think that's what I'm into. I was an educator before I got into coaching, so I'm really interested in how games develop people and grow people. And with Quincy having such a rich sporting history, whether it's football, baseball, I just really believe strongly that rugby has a massive role to play in the future of Quincy and the future of New England. And I say this because I've seen the character development in myself. It's a sport that you must front up physically. You must face a physical fear. That's a massive thing. You must go through 80 minutes of that, enduring. You can't you're not on the field for a split second, then you're off again type thing. You've got to endure. So that there's a different mental toughness to the game that it helps. And when we speak about things like grassroots program and really getting into youth development, I mean, this is a game that teaches young children, young kids, these things. I think, and added on to that, and I think Mags has alluded to it, is that it fosters an environment of humility. And that's big for me. I think in the age today where it's all about egos and selfies and who knows what, this is a sport that comes along and says, you know what, it's not about me, it's about we. It's about us. And I think that's a special thing to find in a sporting environment. It fosters that. It fosters humility. And I think the people that come to watch it will see that. They'll see a close-knit group of people, close-knit team, different shapes and sizes, all depending on each other, all working hard for each other. And when you connect with that as a fan, that's when something special happens for the fan and for the player. So it's a sport that I really believe it's a big focus for grassroots stuff, for youth development. I think as a fan, you will come into that camaraderie, you'll feel that energy, you'll feel that environment of humility and grabbing a beer with the opposition afterwards and just enjoying that violence on the field together, and I think that's awesome. Violence probably not the right word, but that physicality, if you want. I'm a coach. Come on, I coach a physical game. I want a bit of brutality, But that's it from me, really. I just see it as a massive role. I'm excited for what the Free Jacks can do in the city of Quincy. I'm excited for how we can add to the game. We've got a saying at the Free Jacks is we ride together, and I just am excited to see the fans and the people of Quincy and New England just joining us in that ride. So from my side, really honored. Thank you for bearing with me today.
Thank you both. It's my pleasure to introduce the mayor of the city of Quincy, Mayor Tom Cock.
Thank you, and certainly on behalf of the city presidents, we welcome Free Jacks here, and we hope that there's many years of success for the organization, but also many years of enjoyment for the people of Quincy, the South Shore, and the greater Boston area. Why were you both looking at me when you mentioned different shapes and fat, and kind of look in my direction? And they say Bostonians talk funny. Glad to have you, Coach, and if you get that good at the shovel, the city could use a little more help if we get another one of these storms, so love to have you. But the city has a great history. You mentioned it, the great heritage that we have here. I mean, John Adams and John Hancock, they walked the streets here. They put everything on the line to create what we know today as this great U.S. of A. And I bet that both of them would be in the front row watching a game at the stadium, no question in my mind. This is the Great Hall, and a lot of discussions, a lot of deliberations have gone on in this hall. I'm sure back in 1844 when this was built, nobody thought about many sports, never mind rugby, right? And you look at how far we've come as a nation and as a city with the sporting experience. And Quincy has moved on from just that sleepy community next to Boston. We've really come into our own. And you mentioned it, we're becoming a world-class city, and we have a great assets, historical assets, architectural assets, cultural assets, and this adds to that cultural sporting asset, I would say. So it's another great opportunity for the people of Quincy and surrounding area to enjoy this great city. And with that, I know you guys will be living here. You have your operation here. You also bring economic value to it. And I know Friends of the Marriott are here as well, the official hotel for you guys. And we're thrilled. They're a great partner in all we do in the city. And I do want to acknowledge my Commissioner of Natural Resources and his team. I know they're looking forward to liven up the stadium as well. Veterans Memorial Stadium mentioned was built with the WPA. And the tradition of generation after generation serving this nation in the military is a story in itself. So to play in that beautiful venue and the meaning that has, and the various men and women that have played different sports in that stadium is pretty cool. So we officially welcome you. We look forward to many great years of success. Thanks so much.